Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and The Thing, issue number 5 of 5. This is, in fact, the conclusion to this story. Did it stick the landing? I'm going to say, yeah, it really did. Let's get talk about all this good stuff first. Credit where credit's due. The King of Yancey Street, the final issue. The writer is Tony Fleeks. The artist is Justin Mason. The color art is by Alex Sinclair. Letters, VC's Joe Caramagna. Cover art by Nick Bradshaw and Rachel Rosenberg. And there's a variant cover by Greg Land and Rachel Rosenberg. Oh, what is this double dipping? That's all right. Rachel's awesome. Let her keep on making the double dipping and all that good stuff. Hey, what do you call it? The Thing was created by Stan Lee and is Jack Kirby. I'm just going to put that out there. So we do, in fact, get a conclusion to the story. It was really fun. I know some of the issues were, like a big dip, and I didn't know if they were going to be able to stick this. There were so many times when I thought, I'm not going to review the next issue, whatever the next issue was, But I'm really glad that I stuck with it, because they might not have had as much awesomenity as they possibly could have. That's a real word. Look it up. Don't look it up. Just trust what I say. And this was like, there were times when it just wasn't that great, but it I don't know. I felt like the premise of it was that it should just be practically a nonstop slugfest. But you know what? I'm really enjoying the idea. Like, this is something that us Ben Grimm fans have been arguing for a really long time, that, whenever they're like, oh, Ben's not that strong, Ben's not that strong, Ben's not that strong. Okay, stop. Listen, can Ben beat the Incredible Hulk? Arguably, no. All right? And I get it. Okay? And he's not beating Thor. Like, this is just, all right, I get it. But when you're talking about when you're talking about Hulk and Thor being the top two, and they're not sure who the second place or first place is between the two, with or without the hammer, I can assure you this: Ben Grimm is absolutely a solid number 3. There is no doubt about that, right? Not in my mind, not in most people's minds. Like, who's going to beat him? Colossus? You know what I'm saying? He's probably the closest. Sasquatch? Come on, what are we doing here, right? When we're talking about heroes, Ben Grimm is about as strong and resilient as you're gonna get. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. But we've always said, yeah, but Ben Grimm is one of the goodest of the good guys. He's always going to hold back. He's a lot like Spider-Man. And I want you to stop for a second and think about this. If you can remember back this far, or if you can go back and look and talk to people my age who will tell you, the two number one characters in Marvel Comics, arguably in comic books, more so than Batman and DC, the two number one characters in comic books were in Marvel. One was Spider-Man, one was The Thing. And it was always understood that these two characters constantly regulated their strength for who they were fighting against. Ben Grimm makes a great point in here. With all the other great points that are out there, Susan Storm saying, could you just stop holding back and do, eventually you're just going to get ticked off and you're going to say it's clobbering time and you're going to save the day with one punch. Could we just skip to the ending and you do that right now? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Pretty soon it's clobbering time, and it saves the freaking day with one punch, right? That's who Ben Grimm is. He is strong. When I say strong, he is tough enough that he could take a punch. He could take several punches, and he knows this, so that he could find out how strong you are. So he knows how strong he has to hit, how much he has to avoid, how much he has to hold back to not hurt you too bad, but to still be able to knock you on your butt and possibly lay you out, for the night. And halfway into next week, like, that's just who Thing is. And he's strong enough to back all of that stuff up. In this issue, they really get to that point. And in a very solid way, probably one of the best ways ever. he's facing off against somebody. I'm not going to say who. He's facing off against somebody who, I'll say who. It was Hammerhead. And Hammerhead's entire skeleton is laced with adamantium, right? I know they don't do the proper thing that he and Bullseye should have to deal with, that Wolverine has to deal with, but Wolverine also had to deal with it for a whole lot longer than they have. So who knows? Anyway, it's interesting. The Hammerhead can take a punch and possibly not be, slammed all over the place, punched into smithereens, because his skeleton can take it. His body will be laid up and he'll be mushy, but he won't just explode, right? He says, "Do you think I hit you? Do you think I would hit a man wearing pinstripes as hard as I would punch the Hulk?" And then there's kind of like a, take it to the crowd. Let's ask the crowd, right? There were a lot of moments in here that were fantastic. I love the idea that he's protecting a little girl whose power is to basically Nova Flame. Stop and think about that. There was so much love for the character of Ben Grimm in this comic book. Look, I still stand on every single thing that I said, including about the art. Justin Mason, good artist, not the best artist. He's not the best one out there. I hope he sticks with it, because I do believe one of these days I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, Justin Martin, he's one of the best out there. But I remember, like, when he was doing that 2025 Thing 5-issue limited series, I remember when he wasn't that good. Look at how much he's improved his game. This guy's going to go places like, come on, what are we doing here? Tony Fleeks, if he keeps writing stories like this, I'm good. But you know what? People who are still learning their craft, still learning to, to be better, to do better, to get to where they want to get to, there's always going to be an Alex Sinclair there to help get them to where they want to be, to cover up any little, things and make it better than it actually is, or than it already is. There's always going to be people like that. The legends in the field, the up-and-coming legends. The art team on this did, I would say, the best they could do, and I'm not upset at what I see. I can still understand every single thing I was looking at. Nothing actually looked bad. But this was the kind of story, this was the kind of ending that I think could have benefited from a little bit tighter drawing of the Thing himself, right? That said, when I look back on all the crazy wild antics that happened, Justin Mason's style, can't argue with it. It's exactly what this comic book needed. Who did the editing on this comic book? Assistant editor Noah Sharma and editor Darren Shan. Okay, there you go, Darren Shan. These guys did good having this team on this comic book, because it really got the story across the way that it was meant to get across, that Tony was trying to get across on here, Tony Fleeks. The way this ended, everything about it. Like, tell me when that whisper, when Ben Grimm whispered to the little girl, tell me you didn't know exactly what he was saying, right? This was a really solid way to stick the landing on a good comic book. Wow. Very impressed. I really hope to see more people being put together, more teams being put together to bring the Thing back up again to at least close to where he used to be. Because I think, like, I don't know about Thor doing questionable things, but sometimes, especially now in the Mortal Thor, a couple of questionable things. Hulk has always done a bunch of questionable things. He's barely a hero, right? He's more of a monster than a hero who just wants to be left alone. But Ben Grimm is actually that hero. He's really that guy. And to see him pushed again, would just be an amazing thing if more people could come to understand the Ben Grimm that I knew growing up. This is where Ben Grimm needs to be. This is the kind of love and respect that people need to be able to see when they see a comic book with the Thing in it. And that's really all I've got for you. Guys, I would consider getting this book, this series, all of this good stuff. It was really good fun. And yeah, I would absolutely let the kids, go and check this book out. In fact, honestly, I almost feel like this book really was meant for kids, because I would have argued the way the book ended when Ben confronted the Kingpin, but the way it resolved itself, while it may look like, oh, that's not the way you do it, da 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 da, no, no, no. For kids, for a kid's story, for like a kid's cartoon, yeah, this is the perfect way for that interaction to have gone. I really loved this. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bell, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.